Hi, I'm Jane Mansour. I'm an independent consultant living and working in the US. I have policy research and operational experience of welfare to work in the UK and Australia. Prior to moving to the US, I was the director of the India Centre for Policy and Research based in London. I think it's fair to say that the experience of PBR and welfare to work has been quite mixed. There have been programs in which the use of payment by results has really driven improvements in service delivery, and there have been others in which there have been significant issues in using it both for the contracting period and in terms of measuring performance. If we look at the employment zones, which were started in 2000, PBR really drove a very clear focus on sustainable employment as an outcome. It drove innovation, it added jobs, but this was a reasonably generously funded programme and there were lots of opportunities in the contract for flexibility and for innovation. The work programme has far less money in the programme and far higher performance expectations of providers, and these two things are reacting in a way that's meaning there are a number of significant delivery issues for providers, both at the prime level and the subcontractor. I think it's also important within PBR that contracted out providers are held accountable for the performance they say that they'll deliver. And I think there have been issues with accountability. Better performance data and better analysis of that data is really needed to drive higher accountability standards throughout the programs. I think clarity and simplicity. If the objectives of the programme are not clear, then payment by results is probably not the right funding mechanism for that programme. While I was at the India Centre for Policy and Research, we developed a funding mechanism called the Target Accelerator, which was a way of incentivising providers to work with those furthest from the labour market to prevent parking and creaming. There's a real need within PBR to align the incentives for providers with the needs of service users and with the policy goals. And sometimes I think they become disconnected, and that's where you can get policy failure in this area. I think there's another question about what we want the provider base to look like. There's a need to maximise opportunities for economies of scale, but you also want to retain local excellence and local knowledge. And how do you retain that diversity in reality rather than just in name? I think there are three key advantages. The first is a focus on sustainable outcomes. Secondly, flexibility. And third, the opportunity to reward innovation. I think that in and of itself it's seen as a panacea, whereas it's not. It's a payment model. I think, secondly, that payment by results is sometimes introduced as a way to cut costs, whereas the reality is if a programme performs well or if providers outperform their targets, it could end up increasing costs, and the savings may come from other budgets within the same department or from other departments. And within that, I think, sits a real opportunity for payment by results, which is to kind of look at the silos of funding that exist and think of ways that we can address some of the issues more holistically and bring some of these funding streams together. By focusing on the overall outcome, payment by results does offer an opportunity to do that. But back to the concerns. Another concern is that the results that are awarded are the wrong ones. There's a misalignment of incentives, and if you set the financial incentives poorly, you can encourage and reward bad or manipulative behaviour by providers. I think we need a mix of payment systems, and we need an understanding of what works best in which circumstances and how you utilise those to maximise the best performance. I think PBR does offer real benefits in some areas where there's clear outcomes, you can align incentives, and it offers a real flexibility to innovate. but it's really important that we improve the quality of data and the quality of data analysis.